The morning air is still crisp and has that particular pre-dawn chill as I walk through the factory gates. It's a familiar routine, yet one that never quite loses its sense of occasion. The sheer scale of the place, a vast, brightly lit factory floor stretching into the distance, the low hum of activity is already audible, a sleeping giant beginning to stir. I pull on my overalls, the fabric familiar and reassuring. I lace up my steel-toed boots, I grab my safety glasses. The day is about to begin, the intricate ballet of man and machine that will turn thousands of parts into something with a soul. Stepping through the final door and onto the assembly floor is like entering a different world entirely. The hum I heard outside is now a full-throated chorus of whirring conveyors, hissing pneumatics, and the rhythmic clatter of robotic arms. It's a cathedral of creation, vast and echoing under a constellation of bright fluorescent lights. The air smells of clean metal, a faint hint of oil, and the charged scent of ozone from the welding robots. A network of overhead tracks, conveyors crisscrossing the ceiling. Car bodies in various states of completion glide like metallic angels through the heavens. It's organized chaos, every movement choreographed down to the last millisecond. The first piece arrives. It's the floor pan, the very base of the car. It glides into my workstation, secured to a large automated carrier known as a skillet. Skillet indexing forward, precise automation. I grab the front axle subframe from a rack beside me. I grab the rear axle subframe from a rack beside me. These are complex assemblies, already fitted with suspension components and mounts. Using a pneumatic hoist to take the weight, I guide the first subframe into position. The precision is astonishing. The mounting holes on the frame line up perfectly with the pre-drilled points on the floor pan. There's a satisfying clunk as it settles into place. The tolerances are measured in fractions of a millimeter. Now for the bolts. I grab my torque wrench, a clever device that talks to the factory's central computer. I have a specific sequence to follow, a pattern of tightening that ensures even load distribution. As I tighten each bolt, the wrench gives a sharp click. A green light flashes, confirming the correct torque has been applied. The computer logs this data, creating a digital birth certificate for the car. Bolt number 3 on chassis 742 was tightened to spec at 0617. It's a level of accountability that boggles the mind. If there's ever an issue with this car, years down the line, they can trace it back to this very moment. With the front and rear subframes secured, the chassis begins to look less like a simple sheet of metal. It's the beginnings of a proper vehicle. The next task is to attach the fuel lines and the brake pipes. These are pre-bent metal tubes that snake their way along the underside of the floor pan. I clip them into a series of color-coded brackets, following a diagram displayed on a monitor at my station. Red for fuel, blue for brakes. Every clip must be firmly seated, every pipe routed correctly to avoid being pinched or damaged later. As I finish my tasks, the skillet automatically indexes forward, carrying the nascent chassis away from me. Already the next bare floor pan is gliding into place, ready for me to repeat the process. There's no time to admire my handiwork. The line waits for no one. The rhythm is relentless. Hoist, position, clunk, bolt, click, green light, clip, clip, clip. And then it's gone, and the next one arrives. I'm a small part of a continuous loop, a human link in a chain of creation that will run uninterrupted until the final klaxon sounds at the end of the day. The skeleton dance has begun, and the factory floor is my ballroom. The chassis, now with its basic underpinnings, moves into one of the most dramatic areas of the factory. The body shop. This is where the car gets its shape. The noise level jumps significantly here. It's a percussive industrial cacophony dominated by the hiss and the crackle of welding, bright momentary flashes as robotic arms spot weld steel panels together. I'm at the framing station where sides meet the floor pan. Large pre-assembled body sides arrive. Door apertures are already formed. Pillars are in place. Enormous robotic arms bring them into position. They move with a grace and speed like giant metallic birds. I ensure panels are correctly aligned before the robots start. I use jigs and clamps to hold the body sides against the floor pan. A laser measurement system scans, projecting green lines onto a monitor. A red line means something is amiss. The whole line stops. The pressure is on to get it right. First time, every time, I press the large green all clear button. Safety cages descend. The real show begins. Dozens of robotic arms swarm the static frame. Their tips glow orange. Thousands of spot welds flash in sparks. The result is the body in white. The complete unpainted shell of the car. The floor is welded, the sides are welded, the roof panel is lowered and welded into place. A recognizable car shape emerges from individual stampings in minutes. The air smells of hot metal, a smell of pure creation. Robots withdraw, safety cages lift, and the new body shell moves on. It's a dull grey, covered in welding marks and positioning scrawls, but it has integrity, it has form. From my position, I can see the whole process. Smaller robotic cells weld inner door panels, smaller robotic cells weld outer door panels, cells assemble bonnets, cells assemble boot lids, sub-assemblies are created in parallel and come together at the main line. This maximizes efficiency and keeps parts flowing. The body in white, I checked, glides away. The next components are already being prepped. I release the clamps on my empty jig, ready for the next floor pan. Giant arms swing in with the next pair of body sides. The symphony of steel and sparks plays on, a constant, powerful rhythm of automotive manufacturing. After the body in white is fully assembled and checked for dimensional accuracy, it embarks on a long and winding journey through the paint shop. This part of the factory is a world away from the noise and sparks of the body shop. It's cleaner, quieter, and more controlled environment. The bodies move on overhead conveyors, dipping and rising like a slow-motion roller coaster. Before any paint is applied, the bodies go through a series of chemical baths. I'm working on the pre-treatment line today, monitoring the process. The bodies are first submerged in a degreasing solution to remove any oils or residues from the stamping and welding process. Absolute cleanliness is paramount. A single speck of dust can ruin a paint job. Next comes the electrocoating, or e-coat. The entire body shell is submerged in a huge tank of black water-based primer, and an electrical charge is passed through it. The charge causes the primer particles to bond to every single surface of the metal, inside and out, even in the most hidden crevices. As the body emerges from the tank, it's coated in a perfectly uniform, smooth layer of black primer. After another series of rinses, the body glides into a massive oven to bake the e-coat hard. Now for the color. This is where the magic really happens. The paint application booths are sealed, brightly lit rooms with a constant downward flow of filtered air to keep dust out. Robotic arms, not humans, do the actual painting. They are programmed with the precise movements needed to apply a flawless coat of paint. I'm in the control room, monitoring the process on a bank of screens. We can see the robot's every move, check paint flow rates, and ensure the conditions inside the booth are perfect. The robot's arms dance around the car body, their nozzles emitting a fine, electrostatically charged mist of paint. The charge ensures the paint is attracted to the grounded car body, minimizing waste and ensuring an even coat. The process is layered. First, a coat of primer, then several coats of the base color, racing green, flame red. Finally, a clear coat is applied on top. Between each coat, the body passes through another oven to be baked. The whole process takes hours. As the now gleaming, colorful body emerges from the final oven, it's a stunning transformation. A freshly painted car body gleaming in a vibrant red emerges from the paint shop on an overhead conveyor. What was a dull grey metal shell is now a vibrant, shining object of desire. It's then subjected to intense inspection under bright lights, where trained eyes look for any imperfection before it's allowed to proceed to final assembly. While the painted body is making its way along the overhead conveyor, a parallel story is unfolding on the floor below. This is the powertrain assembly line where the car's heart and muscles are put together. My task today is on the engine dress line. The bare engine blocks arrive at my station, and it's my job to add the ancillaries. I fit the alternator, I fit the starter motor, I fit the air conditioning compressor, I fit the wiring loom. Each component has its place, and I follow a strict sequence shown on my monitor. I use my torque wrench to tighten the bolts, ensuring each one is perfectly secured. The engine slowly transforms from a lump of machined metal into a complex, functional power unit. The engine then moves on to be joined with the gearbox. This is a critical operation we call mating. The engine and transmission are brought together by a machine, but the final alignment requires a human touch. To ensure the input shaft slides smoothly into the clutch plate once they're joined, the complete powertrain unit, engine, gearbox, drive shafts, is placed onto another automated carrier. It travels along its own dedicated line, a mechanical centipede making its way towards a crucial rendezvous. Other teams along this line will have added the exhaust system, catalytic converter, other drivetrain parts. It's a sub-assembly process of immense complexity. The most spectacular moment in the entire factory is what we call the marriage. This is where the painted body, descending from the heavens on its overhead carrier, is united with the complete powertrain and chassis assembly rising from the floor below. My station is right here, overseeing this grand union. The timing has to be perfect. The body is lowered with millimeter precision over the waiting chassis. As it comes down, I guide it, ensuring that the engine fits neatly into the engine bay, and all the mounting points on the chassis line up with the corresponding points on the body shell. It feels like guiding a spaceship into dock. Once the body is perfectly positioned, just centimeters above the chassis, a team of us move in. We have just under a minute to secure them together. Automated nut runners rise from the floor and tighten the main structural bolts, while we manually connect key brackets and supports. With a final resounding series of clicks from the wrenches, the marriage is complete. The body and chassis are now one. The overhead carrier releases its grip, and for the first time the car is standing on its own underpinnings, ready to roll on the main assembly line. It's a truly pivotal moment. The machine now has its body and its heart. It's finally starting to look and feel like a proper car. With the marriage complete, the car moves into the trim and final assembly hall. The empty painted shell is transformed into a comfortable, functional interior. We remove the doors. Removing doors gives us much better access to the cabin. Doors go onto a parallel conveyor line. Windows are fitted to the doors. Speakers are fitted to the doors. Trim panels are fitted to the doors. Doors get reunited with the car later. My job is at the start of this section. First task, fit the dashboard. The fascia. This is one of the most complex modules. The dashboard arrives as a complete pre-assembled unit. It's been built and tested on a sub-assembly line. Instrument cluster, infotainment screen, glove box, wiring and air ducts behind it. A manipulator arm carries the dashboard. I guide the dashboard through the driver's side door frame. It's a tight squeeze. Angle must be perfect. Once inside, I align it with the bulkhead mounting points. I secure it with bolts. I connect the main wiring loom plugs. Milestone moment. The car has a face inside. Next, the cabin fills up. Pre-cut carpets laid on the floor. Sound-deadening materials applied. Center console goes in. Gear lever. Cup holders. Center console slotted between the front seats and secured. Overhead team fits the headlining. Large fabric-covered molded ceiling panel. Several people maneuver it carefully and clip it into place. I connect dashboard electrical systems to the main fuse box. A spaghetti junction of wires and connectors. Each has a home, seats, last major components. Seats arrive as complete units, upholstered and fitted with motors. Airbag modules in the seats, seat heating elements and wiring. Robotic assist arm guides the heavy front seats into place. Front seats bolted to floor rails, rear seats installed next. Echo inside the shell diminishes with every part. It starts to feel like a proper interior. The car moves on from my section, no longer an empty shell, but a cabin waiting for its driver. Now that the dashboard is in, it's time to give the car its eyes on the world. The glazing station is where the windscreen is fitted. The glazing station is where the rear window is fitted. This is a process that combines delicate handling with some serious adhesive technology. The glass arrives with a thick bead of black polyurethane adhesive already applied around its perimeter by a robot. My colleague and I, using a large suction cup manipulator, lift the windscreen from its rack. We carefully guide it towards the car, lining it up with the aperture in the bodywork. The fit is incredibly precise, with only a few millimeters of clearance all around. Once we have it perfectly positioned, we gently press it into place. The sticky polyurethane grabs hold instantly, forming a watertight and structural bond. The windscreen is not just a window, it's a critical part of the car's overall rigidity. We hold it for a few seconds to ensure a good seal before releasing the suction cups. The process is then repeated for the rear window. While we are fitting the glass, the doors are making their own journey. On their separate conveyor, they have been fitted with window glass, electric window motors, speakers, wiring looms, interior trim panels. It's like a mini assembly line just for the doors. Now it's time for the reunion. The very same doors that were taken off earlier arrive at the line, perfectly timed to meet the car they belong to. My job is to re-hang them. The car's computer system knows which car is which, so the correct, fully trimmed flame red door arrives for the flame red car. There's no room for error. Using a small, counterbalanced hoist, I lift the heavy door and align its hinges with the corresponding points on the car's A-pillar. I slide the hinge pins into place and secure them. Then I connect the electrical plug in the door jamb, a single large connector that powers all the door's functions. After a quick check to ensure the door opens and closes smoothly, and the panel gaps are perfectly even, the car moves on. It's a satisfying moment seeing the car become whole again. It no longer has gaping holes in its sides, but proper functioning doors. It's a room with a view, and now it has a way to get in and out. The car is really looking like a car now, but the finishing touches are what will make it ready for the road. It rolls into my station, and it's time for it to get its shoes. The wheels and tires arrive on a conveyor from another sub-assembly area. Alloy wheels, inflated to the correct pressure, balanced. My job is to fit them to the car. As the car is lifted slightly by the skillet, I grab my pneumatic wheel gun. I take the first wheel, offer it up to the hub, and spin on the 5-wheel nuts by hand to make sure they aren't cross-threaded. Powerful whiz of the pneumatic gun, tightening in a star pattern. The gun is A's Mart tool. It tightens to a preset torque and won't allow the car to move on until it registers all 20 nuts are tightened correctly. A green light flashes on my console and the car is lowered back down onto its brand new tires. For the very first time, the car is standing on its own rubber. The car is no longer being carried. It's now a rolling vehicle ready to move under its own power. Next come the bumpers and lights. Front bumper modules arrive painted and complete. Rear bumper modules arrive painted and complete. Front bumper already has the grille, the fog lights and the various sensors fitted. With a colleague, I lift the front bumper and offer it up to the car. We slide it into place. It clicks onto the mounting brackets. We secure it with bolts from inside the wheel arches and connect the wiring for the lights and sensors. Repeat at the rear with the rear bumper. Now the car has its final, recognizable face. Final exterior parts. Headlamps, taillights. We handle these delicate units with care. I slot the headlamps into their apertures, ensuring a snug fit. I secure them from behind and connect the wiring looms. At the rear, my counterpart fits the tail light clusters. These final pieces complete the car's exterior. It now looks like a showroom car, gleaming under the factory lights, wheels, lights and badges. It just needs one more thing: life. Before the car can start, it needs fluids. It moves into the fluids fill station, a specialized area with a gantry of hoses and nozzles overhead. Here the car gets its first taste of the liquids that are its lifeblood. One nozzle pumps brake fluid into the reservoir. Another fills the cooling system with antifreeze. The windscreen washer bottle is filled with screen wash. The air conditioning system is charged with refrigerant. Finally, a precisely measured amount of petrol, just enough for its first start and a short drive, is pumped into the fuel tank. Each fill is automated and recorded, ensuring every car gets the exact right amount of each fluid. With the fluids in, the car rolls into my bay for one of the most exciting moments, the first fire-up. My job is to connect a diagnostic computer to the car's OBD port, located just under the steering wheel. This is the car's central nervous system. My computer runs a full systems check, talking to every electronic control unit in the vehicle, from the engine management system to the airbags and the infotainment. It checks that every sensor is responding and that there are no fault codes. A sea of green ticks on my screen tells me that everything is connected and communicating as it should. Now, for the moment of truth. I sit in the driver's seat, the first person to ever do so in this completed car. The new car smell is potent, a unique blend of fresh plastics, leather and carpet. I take the key, insert it into the ignition or press the start button depending on the model, and turn. The starter motor whirs for a second and then the engine catches. It settles into a smooth, quiet idle. The instrument needles on the dashboard flicker into life, and the infotainment screen glows with the manufacturer's logo. It's alive. There is a genuine thrill to being the person who wakes the car up for the first time. I don't just start it and switch it off. I have a checklist to run through. I test the indicators, I test the headlights, I test the horn, I test the wipers. I check that the electric windows go up and down. I check that the infotainment system responds to my touch. I run the engine for a few minutes, listening for any odd noises and watching the temperature gauge. Everything is recorded in the car's digital history. Once I'm satisfied that everything is working as it should, I sign it off on my computer and the car is ready for its final tests. It drives off my station under its own power for the first time, a newborn taking its first steps. The car, now running and fully assembled, makes its way to the final inspection area. This is the last line of defense before it is released from the factory. The first stop is the rolling road, a set of powerful rollers that the car drives onto. Here, under the watchful eye of a test driver, the car is put through its paces in a static environment. The driver accelerates through the gears, testing the engine, testing the transmission under load. They perform a full power brake test to ensure the brakes are working perfectly. The rollers measure the engine's power output and the braking force, and the data is compared against the design specifications. It's the car's first proper workout. After the rolling road, the car goes into the monsoon test booth. This is essentially a high-powered car wash designed to find any potential leaks. For several minutes, the car is blasted with high-pressure water jets from every conceivable angle, from above, from below, and from the sides. It's a torrential downpour of biblical proportions. My job here is on the other side, inside the dry car, armed with a powerful torch. I meticulously check all the door seals, the window surrounds, and the boot area for any sign of water ingress. Even a single drop of water means a fail, and the car would be sent to a rectification area to have the leak found and fixed. Thankfully, this one is bone dry. The final stage is the human touch. The car is driven into a brightly lit inspection tunnel, its gleaming paintwork reflecting the long lines of lights on the ceiling. This is where a team of inspectors, myself included, give the car a final, thorough visual check. We are trained to spot the tiniest of imperfections. I run my hand, covered in a soft cotton glove, along the body panels, feeling for any minute flaw in the paint finish. I check the panel gaps with a special gauge, making sure they're perfectly uniform. I check the interior for any scuffs, scratches, or loose trim. We test every button, every light, and every function one last time. If it passes every single one of these rigorous checks, the car is finally declared finished. A protective film is applied to the bodywork to protect it during transit, and a final Quality OK sticker is placed on the windscreen. I watch as the car I first saw as a bare sheet of metal this morning is driven out of the factory doors and into a holding area, ready to be loaded onto a transporter. It's a moment of quiet satisfaction. From thousands of components, we have created something whole. Tomorrow, I will come back and do it all again. But for this car, the journey of creation is over, and its life on the open road is about to begin, and that's a jolly good feeling.